Just a wrap up of the work session and the council meeting for the City of Grand Rapids for June 26, 2023. We had two presenters in at the work session. Claire Peterlin was in from the goMARTI project and gave us an update on where we are at with that project at this point in time. As you recall, this project started about 18 months ago, started last October. Since its inception and start, they've dealt with 2,700 riders, 900 wheelchair riders. 86% of the riders are repeat riders, and they've driven over this year and a half period 69,000 miles. The interesting thing about the goMARTI project is the federal government and the expansion of autonomous vehicles is working at expanding in rural communities more base operations to expand out in those areas in Grand Rapids through Senator Smith on the federal level and Senator Klobuchar on the federal level. We're fortunate enough to get some money put in, and it actually went through IRRR. So Grand Rapids is going to be the recipient of $9.3 million to expand over the next 3 years, looking at additional stops. Right now they have 69 stops that are planned in the goMARTI one, and at the end of the 3 years with this additional funding, we expect that there will be more stops added. There's going to be additional vehicles. There's going to be a total of 9. We have 5 vehicles now. There's going to be 4 additional vehicles that will be handicap accessible. And if you're kind of wondering out there about driverless, the driver typically does not drive, but under Minnesota statute, you have to have somebody behind that wheel. So they do have a person that sits there and monitors what's happening in that vehicle. Plus, we need somebody there to assist with the 900 wheelchair rides that were given out in the last year and a half, somebody to help get them in and out of the wheelchairs. So second thing we had at the work session was Dale Anderson was in, gave us an update on the arena project. Was a lot of pictures, but it was very informative in where we are going and how we are from a process and project standpoint. I think what you're going to see when this opens up in the fall is we've got an arena that's going to be good and going to get us the next 40, 50, 60 years out in the future, as the current arena has done since it was built in the mid-60s until 2023. So real excited about that. At some point in time, it's going to be opened up and people will be able to get up there and walk through it. I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised at what they see the changes are. We've done a lot to accommodate handicap accessibility, from an elevator to cutouts out in the arena to a viewing area out where the old pep band used to stand on the southwest side when we had just a smaller pep band at events. New bathrooms, some new lightings. Some of the equipment in is cost savings, so we think that we are going to have a minimum over some of the months of the year of at least a $5,000 a month cost saving on our utility bills. So at the start of our council meeting at 5 o'clock, we had an opportunity to acknowledge Juan Lazo, former mayor of Grand Rapids, but also one of the initial participants in the police reserve that was started in 1983. So 40 years ago, Juan Lazo has been a part of the police reserves over those 40 years and has done literally, I would assume it's probably past the hundreds, it's probably into the thousands in 40 years that he has participated in. There are a lot of activities in the city of Grand Rapids over the course of a year that the reserves are active in. From sporting events to parades to national nights out to you name it, car shows, where that presence to support the police department is critical and valuable. And it started out with 6 officers. So Juan Lazo was one of the initial 6 officers. His badge number at that time was number 352. So we wanted to thank Juan for the 40 years of service that he gave to the reserves, as well as the time that he spent on the city council for the city of Grand Rapids. We paid our bills, had a lot of meetings. Under the consent agenda, there's a couple of things I wanted to touch on. We are going to, and we've entered into an agreement with LHB for safety inspection of the Horn Bridge. That's the bridge that's in partial out of service right now. As you know, recall, you got some traffic that's coming and going around what is going to be the roundabout on River Road and 7th Avenue. So that project's going, and I'm assuming that over these next 2 to 3 months, while that project's going, they will be in and doing an inspection of the safety condition of that bridge as well. We approve the final pay request for CP 2003-18, 21st Street. That's the street that if you're going up and you're on 169, you're going to take a left towards Target, or you take a right up towards the Catholic Church. It's the extension of 21st that goes all the way past the Catholic Church, and it ties into Horseshoe Lake. So it's turned out to be quite a beneficial reliever route already, and as people out on the west end of town around Pekagama Lake and some of those areas are going to find that it's a quicker way to get to some of the businesses on the south end of town without having to come in and go all the way down Golf Course Road. Under administration this evening, Sherry Perzina was in and asked for the ability to start the process of advertising for the hire of an open police officer position that's been open since 2022, so over a year, to get that process going. And when we have that position filled, that will fill out our staffing in the police department. We also accepted a resolution accepting a bench donation in memory of D. Huffer Warren. I know the Warrens and the Huffers, and they are going to be donating a bench out at Veterans Park, so it gives us another area when you're out in Veterans Park and you want to sit on a nice bench. There's going to be an additional bench out there in memory of D. Huffer Warren. So we accepted that as well. We added some change orders, 3 different change orders at the arena. The arena, just so you know, the change orders were something that we find periodically when you go in there and you don't see something that's under cement, or when you tear stuff apart, you find it's like building a house and you find that you've got some poor wood in an area of your house that you have to replace when you're putting a new roof or something on. We had some change orders that needed to be addressed at the arena, so we took and accepted the change orders as presented at the arena. The nice part is that with the change orders and everything that's going on there, we are still on time and budget from a change order standpoint. We usually carry about a 10% contingency fund. So on a project that size, the contingency fund was probably somewhere in the $1 million mark. And we are hoping that at the end of the project, when it opens up, the end of October or the beginning of October, when that project closes down, we're going to have enough money to take care of some of the issues that were initially cut out of that budget. And we are all going to be pleased, I believe, when they see the final product of what that arena is going to look like. With that, we will meet again on July 10th. Mayor Christie should be back by then. He was off with notice at a destination wedding, so we wish that he's having fun over in France, and we look forward to seeing everybody on July 10th. Thanks.